Hey everyone, I am back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Hopefully, you've had a really good week. For those of you who are joining new for the very first time, welcome. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. And for those of you who tune in every single Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, welcome back. And thanks so much for those who are starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. And for some of you who have been tuning in for the past couple of weeks, we've been talking a lot about resilience and how to really get through, right? The last couple of weeks have been about resilience. So in today's mental health moment, I really want, and hi, thanks for those who are starting to join here. I really want to continue on this area because it's so important, but for you to be thinking about what do you need to look for within yourself when you think about your own mental health. And hi, thanks for those who are still starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Thanks for joining. Welcome. So really, when you think about there's so many warning signs. I think we know a lot of them physically to look for to see, like, okay, we're not feeling well. We may have some fatigue or something's going on with our body, but there's also a lot of warning signs for us mentally as well. And good evening. Thanks for those who are still starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here. Welcome. So one of the things to really be thinking about when you're wondering, how am I doing with my mental health? First of all, hopefully, I know some of you wrote down some of your goals at the beginning of this year when it comes to wellness, but hopefully you are continuing to check in with yourself, because thinking about, are you feeling overwhelmed? For example, mentally, how are your eating habits? How are your sleeping habits? How are you doing with socializing with people around you? Are you connecting with others, right? There's a lot of different areas that we have to be aware of within ourselves if we're going to think about our best mental health, right? So hi, thanks for those who are still starting to join here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. So really, when you're examining again your mental health, you want to look at things like your eating habits. You want to look at how tired you feel, frankly, and I mean mentally as well, physically and mentally, as well as how supported do you feel around you. So we talked about that in another mental health moment, but again, recognizing what or who is that thing or that person that really can help you when you're in a really overwhelmed space, to help you get back into a state of a peace of mind, which is important, right? And blessings to you as well. Thank you so much for joining here. Good night to you as well. Blessings to you, as well as Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. So again, really thinking about continuing to assess where you're at. Again, like I talked about last time on mental health moment, we're nearing the end of the year, which means for most people, things are going to get busy. Things are going to get hectic. You might have some deadlines you have for the end of the year. You might be celebrating holidays. You might be thinking about what 2022 brought in your life. Hopefully lots of good things, but maybe some surprises, maybe some disappointments. There's a lot of things that life really throws at us, but remembering to understand how does this all affect you, right? And how is this in preparing, right, for the end of the year? Someone said, what about the connection to the universe? Yeah, that's a really great question, because really, and we talked a lot about mental health moment, about spending time in nature. Again, everyone on mental health moment, no matter what your belief system is, all is welcome here. From whatever spiritual beliefs you have or higher power, everyone is welcome, of course. But we talk a lot too on mental health moment about connecting to nature, about spending those times mindful, spending some times mindfully, really to think about staying in the present moment, which is so important. Especially, someone said first time on, welcome. Especially when you're thinking about, again, getting into a peaceful place of mind. It might not even have to be for the whole entire month, right? You might have a lot going on, but really your job being to get yourself back to a peaceful state of mind. When you try to work on that on a daily basis, you will see that your life will really shift for the better, because your mind will be trained to find the peace of mind, right? And make sure that a lot of things aren't throwing you off for long periods of time. And blessings to you as well. Thanks so much for joining here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. So again, I really want to remind you again, this is like the series of wellness and resilience for these last couple of weeks of really thinking about getting through whatever it is that you're currently dealing with. All of us have different challenges in some way, but thinking about whatever it is you're currently dealing with, but also thinking about how to mentally prepare yourself as we come into the last couple weeks of the year, because again, they tend to be very hectic. Someone said, "Good evening. I'm in Alaska vacationing and watching you." So cool. Thank you so much for joining all the way from Alaska. That's amazing. Actually, that is a state I haven't been to and I want to visit. I heard it's beautiful there. So enjoy yourself on your vacation. And thanks so much for tuning in here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. So again, thinking about how do you prepare yourself mentally for the end of the year? Important. How are you doing with whatever it is that you're currently dealing with? What is it? I know someone said, like, what about your connection to the universe or nature or higher power or whatever it is that you believe in, your strong belief system that will get you through? That is what is most important. And that is what you have to continue to cling to. I know for myself personally, it's definitely a higher power for me. It's definitely connecting with nature. It's definitely making sure no matter what is happening, there's a lot happening in the world, trying to get back into a peaceful state of mind. Now, though, it doesn't mean, you all, that you can't be human and you can't have emotions. It's completely normal to be sad, to be angry, to be nervous, to be happy, like all of these emotions. It is okay to have different emotions. However, when you have the stronger, more difficult, painful emotions, hopefully your goal is to work on how do I get myself back into a place where I can thrive and be the best version of who I am. That is what mental health moment is really all about. How do you get yourself back to in a place where you can be in thrive mode? And we're not always in thrive mode. Sometimes you're in survive mode, right? Survival mode, which is fine, but work on getting yourself back to that place, which is really important. And good evening. Thanks so much for joining here. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. So again, going into this next week, until I see you all next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, be thinking about how do you get yourself back into a place of thriving. Maybe you're like, Dr. Hammond, I'm already there. Like, I'm thriving. I'm doing great. I'm doing amazing, which is fantastic. But maybe you're in a place where you're like, you know what? This is a really tough things that I'm dealing with, and I'm in survival mode right now. But again, what steps do you need to take in order for you to get back into a place of thriving? And really thinking about if you need to really reach out to your friends more, if you need a mental health professional, if you need to spend more, you need to have more alone solo time, if you need more downtime, right? What is it that you need? Because again, depending on what's happening in your life at certain times, you need different things, which we all do. What you needed last year, you might not need this year, or you might, but what you need next year might be different, right? There's all these things, all these experiences that are thrown at us, some of them great things and some of them not so much. But no matter what, as you navigate through, I want you to, this is your homework assignment this week. I want you to think about how do you build an armor for yourself? How do you prepare yourself? How do you become so mentally tough? Because life is going to always be throwing things at you. But how do you build up that mental armor where you can say, you know what, this came at me, that came at me, this is going on, all these things are happening, but I am strong enough to get through this. And again, if you're a person of faith, maybe it's your faith. If it's you, if it's universe, if it's nature, whatever it is for you, that you could say, I am strong enough to get through this. When you really start to build yourself up to that place, it's a very powerful place to be. Every one of us are at different places, as I always tell you, in our mental health and wellness journey, which is okay. Start where you're at. But please know, when you build up that mental armor, it really, really I can't promise you it's going to take any problems away in your life, but what I can share with you is that it can be a lot more helpful to have that mental armor and be ready for the things that are thrown at you so that you can get through them. Okay, so that's what I want you to really be thinking about this week. Literally, if you picture, right, an armor, if you think of a knight or whatever you want to think of a, not a physical armor though, but your mental armor. You're being stronger, you working on every day. This is something I do too, personally and professionally, thinking about every day. How do I become mentally stronger? What can I do right now? What do I need right now, right, to become mentally stronger? Because again, life throws a lot of things at us. Someone said, knowing who you are, knowing who you are, everything is within you. Everything that you need is inside you. Knowing that is the key. Absolutely. There's a lot of things that if we take the time, the biggest thing, you all, I know we're all busy. I know we have hectic schedules, but when you take the downtime, when you take the silent time with yourself, right, and you really think about going within whatever that silent time looks like for you, whether it's prayer, whether it's meditation, whether it's just taking some calm deep breaths, but that quiet time, to this person's point, is where you really understand, learn more about yourself, and then you can think about what is it that you need, again, in order to thrive. So that's my challenge to you. To I hope that every single day that you think about, man, what can I do today to make myself stronger emotionally and mentally, which is important, physically too. We don't want to forget about the physical, but of course this is a mental health moment, so I want you to really be thinking of that. And someone says, right. So that's your homework assignment, you all, to really be thinking about that. I know some of you say on here that you take notes when you watch mental health moments. So if you are taking notes, write that down as something to really think about going forward. Like, what do I need right now? How do I become mentally stronger? How can I take, even if it's baby steps, it doesn't always have to be leaps, each day, to really be thinking about how can I become a stronger individual emotionally and mentally, as well as physically too. Yep. Someone said, all true. I lost my mom, brother to cancer, and mother-in-law 2 years apart. I learned to be mentally strong, grieving in order to get through it all. And now I'm able to help others. First of all, for the person that said that, that's amazing that you're able to even help others. Cause that's like bonus points, honestly, because it's grief is very difficult, very, very difficult. So the fact that you worked on yourself, and again, that's a whole nother mental health moment topic, but we all grieve in different ways. The most important thing, especially when it comes to grief, is to be gentle with yourself and understand that it is a process. Every single one of us grieve in different ways. That is okay. But the fact that you were also able to help others is beautiful, amazing. Thank you for doing that. And condolences to you as well with that piece. But it is true. There's so many things that happen to us, you all. And when you really get through it, you're like, man, I was able to handle that. Like, your brain just tells you, like, see, I'm emotionally stronger from that experience. So thank you for sharing that. Someone said, I just discovered that I have OCD, which I believe we talked about another mental health moment too, about some tips on that. Someone else said similar narrative, and I also do the same for others. Beautiful. I love to hear that. Thank you for doing that. Someone said, tough to see a relief when physical pain is always constant, feeling powerless when your body doesn't work as it used to. You know what that is? It's really a tough one. It's really a tough one when it comes to physical pain, to your point, especially chronic physical pain. There are there's a whole lot of things that can be done to not, sometimes with the physical pain part, there's not a lot medically that can be done necessarily. However, on the mental health side, there's a lot that can be done for you to, not you, but everyone listening to this, to really think about, how do I cope with that? There's a lot of really good resources on that, but I agree, it's a tough one. And sometimes you do feel powerless. All of us do, whatever situation we're in. Sometimes we really do feel powerless, but I really want to remind y'all, and I say this from the bottom of my heart, there is a lot of hope. Please don't lose hope. Whatever it is you're going through, whatever experiences you're having, I know sometimes there are really dark times, but there really just is a lot of hope. Someone else said, thank you, you're welcome. Someone said, what helped me was knowing that everything that has happened to you is for your good. God does everything for you for your good, but we as humans like to think that human ones, you can connect to the divine, you can only understand that way. Very, very true. And a lot of things, you may have seen this all over social media, but there's a lot of, which I love seeing those posts about how things happen for you, right? Like for your benefit, even the things that were like, man, this is rough. Like, why is this happening to me? But there's things that are happening for your best interest. Even the things that are tough to deal with. So yes, I love that philosophy as well. Someone said, thank you for sharing this info with us. Absolutely. Yes, I love that. Someone said that it's a lot of mental and emotional. That's right. A lot of dark parts and light is coming. Yes, I don't want to minimize whoever it is listening tonight or today, depending on what part of the world you're in. I don't want to minimize that you may be in a dark place. But I do want to say to this person's point too, there is always light. There is always light. Even in the darkest times, there's always light. Your goal is to find the light. And the light for you could be, again, a higher power. It could be someone that's very close to you. It could be something you do, one of your hobbies. It could be a practice that you do that makes you feel better. Like there is always light. And again, we talked about this on a couple of mental health moments ago, but even in your dark times, all of us have it. Make sure that you find the times to have moments of joy. You are allowed, you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be emotionally healthy. You deserve to have moments of joy. So whatever it is that you're going through, or your family's going through, or your friends are going through, you are allowed to still have moments of joy. You do not have to suffer 24/7 mentally. Okay. You are allowed to have moments of joy, even though during those times. And again, I'm not saying it takes away emotional pain. I'm just saying you can give yourself permission to take a break from whatever it is you're dealing with emotionally and mentally and have those moments of joy. Very important. Someone says, yep. Someone says, I have some difficulties with some intrusive thoughts. Definitely. If you guys ever need any resources, you can reach out, drnikishahammond.com. You can also go to any of my social media channels. And if you need a mental health professional, you can always reach out. I'll be sure to do my best to connect you with a mental health professional in your area. Someone says, yes, find the light. Absolutely. Someone said, my workplace is always dark sometimes and I'm getting better. Very good. And I'm glad you brought up your workplace, because the thing is, when certain environments we are in, you all, I know you see a lot of things online like, oh, just change your environment. But sometimes you can't, right? You might be in a workplace where you're like, I can't just up and leave my job, but it may be a toxic environment, or maybe stressful, or those sorts of things. It's still important, even in those places, to make sure you find the light. I hope that even in those types of environments, there may be just even one person, right, who is your light. You're like, thank goodness for this person. Or there may be something you can do, or if you're allowed and you can take more breaks from the situation, or you can change your schedule, or whatever it is that you can do in certain environments where you're like, I can't exactly leave it all together. It's going to be really important for your mental health. Please, please, please. I'm not telling you anyone to go quit their jobs. Definitely not. But I am saying, if you're allowed to, and you can take the breaks, or you can shift your schedule, or you can find that positive person, or whatever it is that you need to do to function and to thrive, that is so important for your mental health. So thank you for saying that. Someone said, absolutely. So again, if you all need me at any time, you can reach out, drnikishahammond.com. or you can go to any of my social media channels, as I mentioned. Send me a direct message. I'm more than happy to try to connect you with a mental health professional. But I hope that you all have an amazing week. And again, yes, like someone said, definitely find the light. I do a lot of hours and try to find time for me. Good for you. Very important. Again, yes, to find the me time. Please find the light. Please think about each day how you're building your mental armor, right? To prepare for things that life throws at you. Sometimes even really positive things are very stressful for us, or of course the negative things are stressful, right? But nonetheless, when you have prepared yourself mentally and emotionally for those things, it can really help you to thrive more. So thanks so much again for those who are joining. And again, I'll be back next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube Live, and LinkedIn Live. So have an amazing week, and I'll see you all next week, y'all. Bye, y'all.